You're listening to the Icandemy Podcast, the podcast for people who can but don't know how. This is where you get actionable steps to turn vague dreams into blissful realities. And I'm your host, Omoshola Victoria Wolabi. So let's get started. Okay, listen up, coaches or aspiring coaches. I know running an online business is hard work. Don't let the bullshit marketers tell you otherwise. Oop, did I just say that? I did. Because I just got a bone to pick with people who advertise running an online business as a walk in the park, because it is not. And that is why I have created the Client Attraction Bundle for new coaches who are struggling with finding their ideal clients. And I have realized from my own experience that it boils down to number one, finding a red hot niche, a niche that is filled with people who are waiting to buy from you. The second thing is having that camera confidence to show up on video so that you can engage with your ideal clients. And the third thing is having authentic social media posts that connect with your ideal audience to foster that relationship. Those are the foundations for any successful online business. So this episode is sponsored by our very own Client Attraction Bundle. So click on the link below to go grab your own copy of the Client Attraction Bundle. And guess what? If you buy today, you will get 1 free hour of me in a group coaching session where I will personally help you implement, because what use is it when we buy stuff and don't implement? This is only for action takers who are ready to start seeing some positive changes in their business. So head on, click on the link in the show notes and grab your own Client Attraction Bundle. Welcome to another episode of the Icandemy Podcast. Super excited to be here again. And I just want to say a huge thank you for listening, for tuning in every week to listen to the show. We really appreciate you. And if you find it valuable, please invite your friends to listen. Don't be a loner. Invite your friends to listen. Leave us a review. We want to know what you think, because that helps us create content that serves you exactly where you are. Remember, the theme of this show, it is a podcast for people who can, don't know how, but believe everything is figure-outable. So let us know. What do you want to learn? Who do you want to hear from? Send us an email to hello@icandemy.org. Now, today, my guest is one of my favorite people. She just inspires me. Her story inspires me so much. And that is why I have invited her on the show to come and share with us. And Claire does not hold back at all. Claire actually, peels back the curtain to see what goes on in her life and how she has been able to overcome all of the challenges that most of us would think are insurmountable. So Claire is a wife and photographer. She's also the founder of Broken But Beautifully Made. She is a transformational life coach, speaker, a motivator, and a phenomenal photographer at Claire's Photography. Today, Claire shares with us how to bounce back from adversity. She lets us understand that no matter what you're going through, everything is figure-outable and everything you can overcome with the right mindset. So let's hear from Claire. Hi, Claire. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. I am super excited to talk to you today. We've been rescheduling this meeting, but you are one person that I was willing to wait till eternity for, because you have a beautiful story. And I think you have a beautiful heart as well. So thank you so much for honoring this invitation.
No, thank you so much for having me here at your podcast. I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for being patient with me as we rescheduled like multiple times.
I know life happens. I totally understand that life happens. So we're just going to dive in. I don't want us to, I'm excited to talk to you. Tell me a bit about you. Who is Claire Cregger? Who is this beautiful voice? Who is the face behind this voice that I'm listening to right now?
Well, I am Clarice Cregger. I was born and raised in Philippines. I've lived here in Albuquerque, New Mexico now for Going on 10 years, actually. I'm currently married. I have my husband here. His name's Richard, and we have a cat, and I run my own business, Claire Made Photography, and my own organization called Broken But Beautifully Made. And I'm very passionate about helping women that have gone through traumatic experience with themselves. And I take a lot of pictures because I like to capture moments for family and for people that may not remember what special families they may have. So that's me in a short version.
Awesome. Awesome. You did say just now that you are passionate about helping women who've been through trauma. I know
Yes.
that for most people that venture into that line of work is actually out of something that has triggered them to do that, because I mean, trauma is not an easy thing to deal with, right? So for you to
Mm.
have that passion to actually lift people up, what is the story behind that work that you do?
I guess the main one is growing up in a third world country and not having a father was very hard
Mm,
because at such a young age, you look for the father figure and not having that. You tend to cling on the wrong things. And so, because of that, I was opened and I guess was vulnerable to a lot of traumatic experience because of it, which include sexual molestation and I would say like being homeless and losing jobs and not finding self-worth in oneself because I thought that seeking validation, immediate validation from men was what I longed for
mhm,
because I did not have that steady foundation of like no, so because of that I was very involved in a lot of things I shouldn't have not been exposed to,
mm,
but unfortunately I was, to where it had domestic violence and drug abuse and drug addiction and just a bunch of things that were very unfortunate to experience at such a young age.
mm. Now, because I mean, I know you. You've shared your story with me personally, and I know you went through a lot. Like I kind of, when I look back now, it made all my problems, whatever I called problems, seem so small.
Mm-hmm.
How were you able? What was that pivotal moment when you decided, you know what, I've had enough of all of this?
I would say about 3 years ago is when I actually have had that pinnacle moment that I got tired of telling myself that it's like, woe is me and I'm the victim
Mm-hmm.
of this, and actually took charge of my life and told myself that it is because of my decision that I'm in the position I am in. And that I had to tell myself that no one is going to save me unless I actually saves my own self from my own self. Because I was seeking demise because that was all I knew. All I knew was pain. And
Mm.
pain became my comfort because if I'm in pain, I'm alive, and if I'm in drama, I'm existing. And
Wow.
if I'm not in any kind of drama, I'm alone and I don't matter. So having to break myself away from all of that was the hardest thing I had to deal with. And it was heartbreaking because the reasoning I had to come to that conclusion is because me and my husband had separated and it was like I had no one else anymore around me.
Mm.
No father, no mother, no husband, no friends. And all I had was me and God.
Mm.
And I had no choice but to face Clarice because I was running from her. Because the Clarice that I knew that was raised by my mother, even though life was hard in Philippines, I was raised to be smart. I was raised to be loving and kind to myself and
Mm.
to others and to be knowledgeable of when to say no and to say yes. And that was gone. I lost my entire identity
Mm.
because I allowed other people to put the identity to me, whatever they want me to be.
Mm.
I just allowed it. So, yeah, I would say about 3 years ago is when I officially told myself that, nope, that's it. I've had it. I need to find me. I need to love me. I need to be able to heal me, because if I don't heal me, I'm no good to anyone around me.
Oh my God. Like you just gave me some goosebumps right now when you said you were able to recognize that this was the victim story you have been telling
Yeah.
yourself. Because a lot of us do that. We stand inside our story. Like we revel in that self-pity and life is just happening to me. And not a lot of people are able to wake up from that to see, okay, I have been a pivotal part of the whole thing going on. So that it's the fact that you came to that realization just gave me goosebumps. Like, oh my God, if a lot of people could think like that, the world would be a better place.
Yeah, because in the end, yes, it's unfortunate things have happened to you, but it's how are you going to react to that? Are you going to allow that to continuously berate you and defeat you? Or are you going to stand up and use that to something better? Or are you going to continuously, let's say, for example, being homeless? Am I going to just sit here and be miserable and tell myself like, oh my gosh, woe is me, I'm never going to get anywhere? That's not going to get me nowhere. Rather than, okay, that happened, now what do I need to do? How can I fix this? How can I better myself so that doesn't happen again? What do I need to do? Like, be smarter, and then in the end, once you're actually in a place in your life that you're able to recognize that, you're able to give back, to where when you see someone that's in that predicament, you can give them kind of like a light, shine it on them that, hey, what this might help you. I've been through that. It's not an easy path. Like, I feel like that's our responsibility for people that have gone through traumatic experience, is to share that so that you can help others before they even get into that experience.
I know now you're the brains and the beauty behind the foundation, Broken but Beautifully Made, and you're also a photographer. I saw your photos, by the way; they look stunning.
Thank you.
So what you went from being homeless, separated from your husband, all of these issues that were there. What was some of the biggest challenges that you had becoming this new Claire that you are now from the Clarice that you used to see before? What were some challenges that you had along the way? I mean, we're all still becoming, we're not at the final destination, but what are some of those challenges that you had as you were trying to get out of that rut, of that victim mode, into the powerful woman that you are?
Oh man, that's a good question. I would say my codependency attitude, because I'm such a people pleaser that I will do whatever it takes to please that person, even if it hurts me. And that really, really hurt me in my life because of the experiences. I could have said a lot of times, no, this is not good for me, and stand firm to that and know my self-worth. But because of that codependency, because I've struggled with abandonment issues. So because of that, I just clinged on to whoever. And even if they are bad for me, I don't know that they're bad for me. I was always in denial. I refused to see that they're bad for me, that I just still do it. And I'm still going to stick here and all of that. And having to find my identity not based on someone's identity that was provided to me. That was hard because I lost me. I don't even really know who I was. And to where I had to figure out what are the things I even like. Do I even like watching that movie? And actually to have a voice now, even in my marriage. If I don't like what I'm seeing, I just say it. Before, I used to be such a huge liar. If I'm being vulnerable, like I was a pathological liar, because I was so afraid of people knowing me, because I was hiding. I was hiding the fact that my stepdad was molesting me. I didn't want nobody to know that because I didn't want to ruin that family. So instead, I lied. I lied to everyone that I know that, nope, this is who I am. This is what I do. I do this even though I don't have an idea. I made up lies at the beginning of our relationship, me and my husband, that almost cost our marriage, that I was with a man that I was engaged with when I wasn't with the man anyways. Like I just made it up so that he can feel bad for me, because in my head, I was so already lost that I didn't want anyone to even know what was going on in my home. That it's like, hide me, hide this person, because this person is being abused in a sense. And so now, like, I had to straight up like shed a lot of that, to where it's like, nope, this is who I am, and I have to be okay with that. If people are going to accept me, they're going to accept me for who I am. It's better to tell the truth than be accepted for the lies that I've given them.
Absolutely.
And that's not who I am.
Hey everybody, it's Amoshala here with a quick word from our sponsors. You see, when you decide to become an entrepreneur, one thing you do not realize you're signing up for is actually the amount of skills that you need to learn, especially if you're bootstrapping your business and trying to do a lot of things yourself. So things like building a website, social media marketing, photography, those are skills that you need when you are getting started as an entrepreneur. And that was what I was quick to realize when I started my business. But hey, Skillshare came to the rescue. With Skillshare, I was able to go there and take tutorials from people who have been exactly where I was, but are now experts in their field. So whether you're trying to build your website, trying to learn how to market your product on social media, or trying to improve on your communication and facilitation skills, Skillshare has got you. With Skillshare, you're able to learn new skills fast and effectively with step-by-step guided tutorials. And as a lovely listener, Skillshare has been kind enough to allow our listeners 2 months free of premium Skillshare. So to access 2 months free of premium Skillshare, click on the link below in the show notes. I'm sure you bless a lot of people right now, because I remember years ago, I used to work with a lady who told so many lies. And just me in my ignorance, I was like, oh my God, this lady just lies too much. Oh, I don't like her. But later, when I started to pay close attention, it was a cry for attention. That was not who she was. That was not who she was. She was crying out for help. And sometimes when we surround ourselves with people don't really know why we show up the way we do.
Yep.
It takes a special kind of someone to actually see the layers behind the face to say, okay, something needs to change here, or I need to help with no judgment. I need to help this person become who they really are. Like, I just think like all the things you've been through just equips you to actually help a lot of women. A lot.
No, absolutely. Because after all of that, I'm able to see my actions and address them myself, to where like, okay, why did we do that? Like, what was the root of it? Like, why was I acting that way? Why was I reacting that way? And so I feel like that's why I said, whatever you've gone through, you have to use that as a tool, not as a scar. No, because if you used it as a scar, it's going to just always be there, rather than just a tool that you can use as a next level to the best you can be, that God created you to be.
Right. Like Lisa Nichols is one of my favorite people in the world. And she'll say, you have to stand on your story, not in your story.
Yes.
I love that.
Because that's not who you are anymore. It's it's not what made you even. It's just what happened, and you have to get past that. And it's not who you are. You are better than that. And it's sad if it happened. I mean, it had happened to you, but usually people that have really gone through a lot of traumatic experience, it's usually because you have such high calling. And it's because you have to go through that in order for you to see the bigger picture. And it's just a lesson, and it's a hard lesson. It's a hard pill to swallow, for sure.
Right. Absolutely. I can totally relate, because trauma is, sometimes we don't even know we have trauma. Like, that's another thing that I realized as I grew older. Sometimes, especially like I come from Africa, right? And in Nigeria, where I grew up, it's just like something happens. Okay, let's move on. Okay, we're just moving on, because we don't have all of those services like, go see a counselor, let's go for, trauma counseling and all of those things. So people just carry on with their lives as though nothing happened. Meanwhile, underneath all of that is a huge baggage that people are carrying and walking around with that, but they
Mhm.
don't even know how to get help, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, this is so good. Okay, Claire, another question that I wanted to ask you is to share, because you've been through a lot, you've come out, you are still growing and coming on the other side. And you recently had an event, a women's empowerment conference, Broken but
Mhm.
Beautifully Made. I want you to share some of the highlights of that experience. What did you see women achieve? Like, what was that? What was the eye opener having put such an event together? What's the need that women want?
Oh, wow. That's a really great question because that was the second thing that I looked at right after the conference. The number one that I know is that people need help. Second thing is that women, we are so afraid to show that we're hurting that we pretend that we're okay.
Mm,
And it's okay to not be okay. You have to allow yourself to not be okay in order for you to receive healing.
mm,
And I saw that a lot of fake facade. I'm okay. I am strong. I am stuff. Hear me roar. It
mm,
is okay to have that, but you also have to understand you are a woman, you are a rib, that
mm.
we are to allow God to come forth and help us. I saw a lot of missing sisterhood. Like I feel like there's sisterhood now, but the sisterhood that we have are usually like, what can you do for me? Or
Mhm,
what's in it for me?
mhm,
There's not really a genuine, like, I just want to help you so that you're not hurting anymore, like out of kindness and out of love.
mm,
And in this process, I saw that. And it was painful to see it,
mhm,
but it was also eye opening because I knew how much we were hurting as society. But then, and the good note is, I saw a lot of women's life transform right before my eyes. It wasn't even like it was during the process, like as I am advertising it, as I am opening it, people are starting to notice that, wow, oh my, yeah, we do need that. People are like, yes, I don't like the fact that we say that we're broken, but we have been. In order for you again to heal, you have to address you have been broken.
mhm,
But to know that you are beautifully made is the healing in it. And so as I have advertised it, as I have networked and met all of other women, I'm able to like plant that seed on women that I'm just even telling the name of my organization that I'm running a broken but beautifully made organization. And they're already astounded by that it's like, wow, yeah, you're right. There are broken people but we are beautifully made, and you have to stand up for that and have that confidence in yourself that you are created beautifully. And I've seen it. I've seen a lot of women that started like putting their self together. They dressed up nicely on the conference and they were happy. And I still see it now. Like when I see their Facebook, I am a very observant person. If any of my friends will get to talk to you, they'll know we be exercising and I'm watching people
mm,
because I like to see what is it? What's your struggle? You know what I mean? Because I'm very in tune with that because I know the feeling and you hide a lot. And I like to address that immediately when a woman comes to me and I tell them, it's okay. I understand. Like, I don't
mm,
even have to tell her what it is. I just straight up tell them that. And I just give them a hug. And then next thing you know, they're just bawling because it's
mm,
like, I know what you're hiding and it's okay to let it out
mm,
because you have to allow yourself to heal because you can't hold on to that scar and to that pain so that you can feel you're alive again. Like how I told you earlier, that's kind of like what I did.
mhm,
So in this conference, I saw a lot of women found God, found sisters, and found new friends and felt that they are not alone, that they're all in this together, that there are people struggling too. You're not the only one struggling, and that everybody, you may see her dressed so nice, but don't let that fool you because you never know what that woman's going through. There's no like level of like, what's that title? Like,
Mm,
I don't like having that, like the titleness of like, oh, I am this so and so. When I had the conference, everybody is equal. We are all children of God, you know? So that's basically what I saw. I mean, the conference itself was life transforming for
mm,
me. Even me, I was in the journey with these women as I
mm.
was planning it.
And that's so good, because sometimes we wait until we think, oh, we have to, we're not qualified to help anybody because, we also have issues our own selves, right? And
Yes.
sometimes we wait so long unnecessarily, thinking we have to be perfect first before we can
Hmm.
help other people, without
Yes.
realizing we have to walk the journey together with them,
Yes.
you
I mean,
know?
don't get me wrong. I had that struggle in the beginning. I was like, I don't even know what I was doing. What am I even doing this? I'm still recovering, God. I mean, you're talking, I'm planning an event for the state of New Mexico.
Mm,
I mean, and people weren't just from New Mexico that were there. People traveled all over from Arizona, Dallas, Texas. I mean, they were everywhere.
mm,
So it was amazing to see how much women are seeking that. They're seeking it,
mm-hmm,
but to actually have someone that's willing to sit there with you and say, yes, I will help you,
mm,
whatever you need, is
mm,
hard to come by. And that was my main goal at the end of the day of the conference, is to know that, yes, you're seeking it and you shall find it. And it's here. See
yeah.
all these women, these are your sisters.
Yes. Yes. Okay, Claire. Now we know the issue. You had insight as to, what the needs are. What are 5 actionable steps that you can share with us today, just based on your experience, based on what you've been through? What are 5 actionable steps that you can share with somebody who is where you were? Someone who's going through the trauma, someone who didn't have that father figure in their lives, someone who's struggling in their marriage, someone who's struggling with their identity, lack of self-worth, fear, or not being able to ask for help. All of those issues are everyday challenges that we women face or go through.
Mhm.
What are 5 actionable steps that they can implement today to set them on the journey of redemption and recovery?
My number one, I would say, is pray.
Mm,
Pray and pray to God a lot. He answers. You just have to listen. Secondly, is to accept your situation, what you're in.
mm,
Acknowledge it. Don't be in denial. If your husband is cheating, say it to yourself. He
mm,
had cheated. He's cheating. And so that you can actually tell yourself what the resolution is in
mm,
this. Because if you are not even speaking it out, you are holding it in. You have to release in order for you to receive healing. Release and let go. Say it out loud. If you're struggling in finances, I'm struggling in finances, but this is what I'm going to do.
mm,
Acknowledge it. Do not be in denial of it, because it happened. It had happened. What else can you possibly do? What's good of hiding it?
mm,
Nothing. Nothing comes good from hiding things.
mhm,
The third thing I would say is journal. Journal everything. Journal everything too, even if you don't know what you're going to journal on. A lot of women or men get really scared of the journaling because they find it cheesy, but it's
mhm,
really a good way of recovery, because I found myself doing that a lot after the conference, because there were so many emotions that I
mhm,
was overwhelmed with that I had to write it down, because if not, my head could not think, you
mm,
know? As it says, it's easier to write it down, look at it, and then by the end of the week, go back to your journal and then look at what you went through and process it. See what you've overcome. It's a good way of seeing small goals that you've accomplished. Even just writing that, hello, I don't know what to write today. That's
mhm,
perfectly fine. You still did it,
mhm,
so you can come back to there later on and see and reflect. It's great to reflect on what you're going through so that you can reassess what you have to do next. The fourth thing I would say is reach out to people.
mm,
Don't be afraid that they are going to judge you. If you are afraid that those people are going to judge you, then you're reaching out to the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to reach out to the ones that are truly love you, that are ones that can make you feel safe, and to know that they're there genuinely just caring and loving for you, and take it as it comes, whatever advice, whatever they give you, because they're trying to help you.
Mm.
Like, that's one thing, is to allow yourself to get the help. Like, a lot of it is allowing, allow, and release and let go. The last thing that I would definitely say is love yourself. Find things about yourself that you love. When you look at yourself first thing in the morning, I find that women, we tend to compare ourselves a lot, especially now how social media is.
Mm-hmm.
We look at ourselves in the mirror and it's like, oh, my eyebrows are not done today, or my eyes are not the same as that. Like, what good comes out of that? You are already in a traumatic experience in life. And then you're berating your own self, even. Like, what are you doing? You're just hurting yourself 24/7. If you feel insecure, do something about it. If you feel that you're overweight, go to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, don't sit there and wallow in it. Do something about it. Get up and do
Take
something about it.
action.
Yes, take action, because that's what you're supposed to do. So when you see yourself that you're like, oh my eyebrows is not right today, then shave them. Do something about it. You know, don't complain, because when you complain, nothing gets done. And also acknowledge where the acknowledgement is due. You know, if you did such a great job, like, wow, I look nice today. Don't wait for your husband, your friends, or anybody to tell you that you look beautiful. You tell yourself that, because you are. You know, like, you gotta fall in love with yourself, date yourself, you know, because in the end of the day, who gets to sleep in that pillow alone, in that head by yourself? It's you. You know, like, yes, you may have your husband or your children, but in the end, the person that sleeps on that pillow is you. So you have to be okay living with you.
Yeah, my husband and I, years ago, we used to watch RuPaul's Drag Race, and there was one thing that RuPaul used to say: if you cannot love yourself, how the heck are you gonna love somebody else? And
It's
it
true.
stuck with me. Like, a lot of people don't even like themselves, so how are you gonna extend that to somebody else? It all starts with you. Yeah. Oh, this is
That's
so
so true.
good. This is so beautiful, Claire. I love it. Thank you so much for coming to share this. And I
No.
know people want to connect with you because you're just a beautiful soul. Listeners want to hear more from you. How can they connect with you? Where can they find you?
Where they can find me in multiple platforms, I'm mainly on Facebook and Instagram. You can find me under Claire May, or you can find me on Instagram under Miss Claire Cregger. I have two in there. I have Miss Claire Cregger and Broken But Beautifully Made. Either one. My organization, I do have a women's page that I basically send 24/7 encouragement and just outpouring love to women in there. It's called Broken But Beautifully Made Women's Empowerment Group. You are more than welcome to join. It is a safe, free environment. I want women to be able to find their inner voice and know that they're not alone, that there are women there that's listening, that you can say what you need to say, and it's okay. We will help you no matter what.
Awesome. This is amazing. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you because I know you're a busy woman. Thank you for taking out the time to share your story, to bless us with, the insights that you've given, just in the spirit of giving and helping people out there. I just want to say thank you so much for, first of all, rescuing yourself and then coming back to rescue other people. So thank you for coming on.
No, thank you so much. This is such a great opportunity for me, because you can never say enough of your story, because in your story there's always healing. And I remember one good mentor of mine that said after the conference is to not ever stop telling my story. And I feel like our story as humans, it never stops. I mean, there's always a story to tell, but are you willing to tell your story? It's your testimony of how far you've come along. It's a great healing process, even because you get to see how much you've come out of, So I'm grateful to be here. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thanks, Claire, for coming.
No problem. Thank you, Victoria.
So there you have it. Thank you so much for listening. And for more content like this, follow us on our social media handles. On Facebook, it's at Icandemy, the Facebook page. On Instagram, it's at Icandemy. Or come say hello over on my personal page. On Instagram, it's at Omoshola Speaks. On Facebook, it's Victoria Wallaby. Feel free to reach out, introduce yourself, say hello. I love meeting you. And if you have any stories that you feel will inspire another woman to action, I want to hear from you. I really do. I love hearing from you. Send me an email to hello@icandemy.org. So it's hello@icandemy.org. And if you find this content valuable, please rate and review on iTunes. Leave a review. It matters to us so that people can find it. So like, rate, and review on iTunes, on Google Podcasts, and everywhere you listen to your podcast. Thank you.